The last thing we need to look at, and this is the most critical, is this. Stream Hatchet. Not a quarterly, but this. Live stream hours that watch July 2020 and percent growth since June. YouTube grows 5.9% during July. Facebook gaming, 1.2%, some modest growth. This is hours watched, the audience, not the streamers, very important. But assuming equal numbers, Twitch dropping 2.9% fundamentally means Twitch is getting worse. Because everybody thinks they can stream on Twitch and grow. That's what people are conditioned for. The strong branding is doing something for Twitch, bringing in a lot of people. But what Mixer's problem was, lots of stream hours, usually second only to Twitch. They weren't bringing in the people to actually watch those streamers. Is a newsreel? I suppose it goes correctly. I suppose it goes with what we're talking about here. So this is Stream Hatchet. Live stream hours watched July 2020 and percent growth since June. YouTube grows 5.9% during July. So YouTube continues making grounds here. Then there's Facebook gaming, and then there's Twitch. But here's the wild card behind this donut graph. Stream Hatchet was challenged by somebody who's on YouTube's staff here. Here's my response to it. And here's Ryan Wyatt here. And very conservative reporting here, too. Let's see if we can shore that number up now that I'm back at work. I'll follow up with you all. Also, this is just YouTube Gaming Live. YouTube Live would change this graph immensely, to say the least. Should have used a winky face, Ryan. But thanks for getting the gears turning, because other people, Stream Hatchet actually responded. Can you see it? Let's bring it up a little so you can. And yes, YouTube Gaming Live data is shown in the graphic above. And there's a thing where I'll send brand assets so things can be labeled as YouTube Gaming and not YouTube in general. But this got the thinking caps going for me. What did my numbers consist of? And what did any commentator's numbers consist of when they were talking about the market share of these three giants? And remember, this is a proxy war between Facebook, Amazon, and Google. It's not just about streaming, and apparently this donut graph is just game streaming. Which we already know that Twitch is kind of declining in game streaming because people are kind of getting over it by now. It's nothing special anymore. Everybody does it. There are consoles with a go live button on the controller nowadays. The next challenge that all these platforms have to figure out is how to differentiate algorithmically between a recreational streamer who's just streaming for their friends and somebody who wants to build something, and then how to promote those people. That's the next challenge for all three of these. So, from the discussions that you can see for yourself on this Stream Hatchet tweet if you go there on Twitter, this is wrong. This isn't that YouTube grew 5.9% with $500 million in stream hours. This is just the gaming streaming alone. So here's my question. All of these quarterlies that myself and all the commentators talk about with the change and all the numbers I've been crunching, is that for streaming in general or just game streaming? Because I want to see the numbers for streaming in general. Because I think the general public is moving towards streaming having more parity in terms of entertainment value with uploads, and that's kind of been the trend for a while. You think of Twitch, which began as the gaming spin-off of Justin TV. And I'm wondering today if there's some kind of pun in the name Just Chatting, because Just Chatting, Just in TV. I don't know if Just Chatting is supposed to be a hidden reference back to Justin TV, if it's a kind of an inside joke at the office at Twitch or something. But I'm wondering now about what numbers have been being reported in these quarterlies. Are they streaming in general, or are they gaming? How do the numbers change when you look at streaming in general? Because Twitch is not necessarily for gaming. They try to double down on it. Amazon's trying to double down on it with the Prime Gaming relabeling of Twitch Prime. But content-wise, Just Chatting is growing. There's other categories growing. Twitch recently added sports. They're trying to increase their music thing. which I think is part of the reason why the RIAA paid Twitch streamers a visit with a wave of DMCA notices a while back. It's obvious that Twitch and the brass at Twitch want Twitch to be a mainstream streaming site that isn't just for gaming anymore. Purple YouTube, as it were. So, my challenge, and I already posted a tweet on this, but I'm going to say it right here. My challenge to Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet, in addition to the clarify whether the data you reported in your quarterlies is for gaming, streaming, or everything. And then when you post Q3, have your charts for gaming, but have your charts for everything as well. Show how the red versus purple war is heating up, because this is all of this right here is a giant misnomer. All of it. It's apples and oranges. It's not really a fair comparison. These are the details that I don't even think Devin Nash touched on when he mentioned this graph in his last show. So, all three of these platforms have non-gaming streaming options. YouTube recently confused me with YouTube Live versus YouTube Gaming Live, which has been, it's still a distinction according to the responses to this tweet. Twitch has non-gaming categories, just chatting, music, sports, podcasts, science and technology, and they're trying to expand their non-gaming portfolio of categories for people to stream in. Facebook gaming is also a misnomer, because Facebook has a non-game streaming element called Facebook Live, which I've seen some small businesses use to live stream business events or publicity events, like a rubber duck race to benefit charity or something like that. Lots of cutesy little local events. I've even seen press conferences on mainstream TV news, like NBC Connecticut, broadcast on Facebook Live. So to keep comparing gaming streaming between the three platforms is not giving the whole picture of just how streaming is evolving and how content creation is evolving. So, my challenge to Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet: show data for gaming, like they've been doing, apparently, clarify that it was gaming streaming they've been showing, and then show data for everything. Make these companies, see if you can get these companies to brag about how all of their streaming is doing. I don't want to say force them to disclose stuff, because no company's going to want to do that, but they should all try and see what kind of, any company that wants to sell itself to a prospective user base, so to speak, should be bragging about its gains. If Facebook has been growing, for example, in Facebook Live and not just Facebook Gaming, this 1.2% is actually being understated. So, all three, same thing with YouTube, 5.9%, but we now know from the comments that this is just gaming streaming, not everything. As Ryan puts it here, YouTube Live would change this graph immensely, to say the least. I'd love to see what red versus purple looks like when you take everything into account, because Twitch, we know, is trying to expand in non-gaming streaming categories and add new ones like sports. So it's not really a fair comparison anymore to limit everything to just game streaming. Game streaming itself is long in the tooth. It's mainstream, everybody does it. Everybody can do it, I should say. There's nothing special to it anymore. Nothing. And many of the biggest names in game streaming have something else that you can point to that shows how they got there, like the Tour de Feedback loop we're going to do after the next break. So, Streamlabs, Stream Hatchet, for your quarterlies, show game streaming, but also show everything. I'm very curious just how much bigger YouTube is than what people are showing. And that might be the very kind of data that we need to see before more people realize Twitch has a lot of what it has because of its strong marketing. I dare say that if Twitch didn't have this strong marketing, Amazon would have renamed the company by now. Whether it's because of the Twitch streaming sounding like a medical condition if you don't know anything about technology, or something else, I think Amazon would have renamed the company if they didn't have this strong culture to them. So the strong culture, yeah, it's kept the Twitch name around, but at the very same time, I think it's going to be a fundamental limiting factor in Purple's growth. We just have to sit back and watch now. Grab the popcorn and see what happens now that some people are agreeing with me on this, and they're also showing up in the things people are talking about on here. Plus one, as Fwiz said on Conservative Reporting, we're in touch with you, as you know, so thanks for addressing. Regardless, exciting time for everyone. YouTube's going to win this streaming war. Remember this tweet. Let's look at some of these others. See here. Facebook gaming slowly creeping. Yeah, but Facebook has systemic issues. They have problems with the way that they're deploying their technology and the way they're deploying their partner program. But there you go. YouTube grows 5.9% during July, and that's just gaming alone. Does this data include the return of Dr. Disrespect yet? We shall see. Anyways, how much does he affect all of these? So, last thing we need to talk about is the Tour de Feedback Loop. We shall do that after refilling the cold ones and taking a break for a few minutes. This is MultimediaJay radio style. Don't touch that dial.
257. MultimediaJay radio style.